Happy Valley. I'm Brooke Steach, joined alongside by Zech Lambert and our third host, Seth Engle, for our third show of the summer semester. We're here to bring you the latest news from Penn State and State College.
Coming up today, we'll discuss the NCAA's new name, image, and likeness rules.
Then we'll discuss Penn State's summer coronavirus testing policies.
But first, here are the latest headlines.
Penn State employees are now able to travel domestically without unit executive approvals and may return to following their unit's pre-pandemic approval processes for business trips. All employees considering making travel plans are expected to follow all university coronavirus travel guidelines.
Penn State's intramural building, McCoy Natatorium, Outdoor Pool, and Hepper Fitness Center will reopen on July 12th for faculty, staff, affiliate, associate, and retiree members. Eligible people can purchase a membership at the IM Building sales office.
Former Penn State athletes will be heading to Tokyo for the Olympics. 26-year-old Melissa Rodriguez was named to the Mexican Olympic women's swimming team and will compete in the 100 and 200-meter breaststroke. Former Nittany Lions Joe Kovacs and Michael Shuey will also be heading to Tokyo to represent the U.S. track and field team.
Former NFL wideout and Nittany Lion Chris Hogan was traded to the Whipsnakes LC in the Premier Lacrosse League on Tuesday. Hogan previously had played one game for the Cannons LC. Coming up next, we'll discuss the new name, image, and likeness rules and their impact on Penn State student-athletes.
On July 1st, the NCAA updated its NIL rules, allowing athletes to benefit from their name, image, and likeness. Multiple Penn State athletes have already begun to announce deals. So Zach and Seth, how do you see the new NIL rules impacting Penn State athletes going forward?
I think it's a great step in the right direction. And, as you mentioned, we've seen a lot of athletes already make deals with different companies, like the gaming companies. We've seen a couple sign with Barstool. So just athletes being able to benefit from their name, image, and likeness is really a positive step because these guys are put on such a big stage nationally. Everybody knows who they are. And it only makes sense for them to be able to profit off of that, especially since so few wind up going pro, that you might as well make your money while you can.
Right. And I think that, this has obviously been a long time coming for college athletes to benefit financially, at least, a little bit. It's not saying that, these college football programs are going to be paying these players directly. It just gives the opportunity to these student athletes to go out there and kind of make money based on their own name. Like you said, we saw, Yoke Gaming has signed numerous Penn State football players and, Barstool as well, which I'm not really sure exactly what that's going to look like and how they're necessarily going to make money off of that. But I think it's all just kind of going to come together in the long run. It was a pretty crazy day, as you saw on social media, that first day that the NIL was passed. So I think it's just going to take some time, and this is a bit of an adjustment period. Kind of just, this is the new norm of college athletics.
Well, that, and personally, my favorite signing that we've seen so far has to be Spencer Rattler down in Oklahoma, signing with Raising Cane's. I just think that, I've seen people say this could be bad for the locker rooms, with some guys obviously, getting these bigger deals and other guys, not as much. But I think that's just completely false. I think it's going to be fine. I've seen some athletes say that they're going to disperse some of the money that they make to everybody so that it's not like some people are getting left high and dry. And I also saw something that was pretty cool. Lineman from Marshall, I believe it was, that he's been doing country shows under an alias for a while because he couldn't as a college football player. Now he can perform live shows as himself. So it's just awesome to see these guys getting to explore more of what they love to do. And it's awesome that it extends to sports beyond football too. We mentioned some Penn State athletes signing with Barstool. We've seen a couple men's hockey players, a couple women's hockey players. So really just branching out to all the sports. And it's, like I said earlier, it's definitely a step in the right direction.
Yeah, this is definitely huge news for all NCAA athletes in the country. Coming up next, we'll discuss Penn State's coronavirus testing requirements for students during the summer semester. Penn State's second summer session is now underway, and the university is requiring unvaccinated students living on campus to be tested weekly for the coronavirus. What do you guys think of this decision by the university?
It kind of just seems like Penn State's way of saying get vaccinated without actually saying get vaccinated. You know, they have not come out quite yet and said a vaccination is mandatory. Whether they do or not is still up in the air. But I can only imagine that living on campus and having to get tested every single week is a huge pain, and they're making it more of a hassle for unvaccinated students. We saw on the 28th of June, they lifted the mask mandate on campus and in buildings for vaccinated students. But unvaccinated students still need to wear the masks. So there are a lot of benefits to getting vaccinated and being on campus. So it just seems kind of like Penn State is urging students without really saying you have to get vaccinated.
Yeah, and speaking about the future, if Penn State does potentially, end up requiring all students and student athletes to get vaccinated, like you said, they're adding these protocols, so they're encouraging students to get vaccinated without saying that. The University of Michigan required all students living on campus to get vaccinated. If they want to live on campus, all student athletes are required to get vaccinated. So when we're seeing other Big Ten schools now requiring this, that kind of tells me that Penn State, we could see in the near future follow in those footsteps, as we've seen throughout the whole coronavirus pandemic. With all protocols, the Big Ten has kind of seemed to be, in the same boat together. So if Michigan's doing this, don't be surprised if Penn State does in the near future as well.
Yeah, I definitely think Penn State, they're trying to keep all of their students as safe as possible. So I think this is the best solution that Penn State can give to the whole community.
Well, that wraps up this week's episode of Hey Happy Valley. Make sure to subscribe and like this video and leave a comment if you want.
Thank you for watching, and remember to visit collegian.psu.edu for all the latest news.